Hello everybody, this is Dave Stevens, Stevens Design Pickups, the PAF guy. Hopefully you know who I am, and if you don't, you should cruise through my channel. I have a lot of debunking videos on vintage Les Pauls and PAFs, and a lot of demos of real PAFs. I mean, a lot. And anyway, subscribe and you can keep up with me. And then if I have something to sell, this is where I let people know first. So this video is, I'm going to try to keep it short and keep my mouth from over talking everything. But you know, we all love vintage Les Pauls, right? They're great guitars. And then, you know, but then there's the dealers. They're great guitars, but, you know, if you got a guy who can't play, a lot of owners of these guitars can't play or play at like practically beginner method, you know. It is what it is. But, you know, it's this kind of rich man's toys, and they protect the image of these guitars and keep telling you they're the best that were ever made. They're the best. Nothing else can sound like them. So last week I went and was looking at this video from a guitar show, and I made a comment. It's like, well, you know, you don't have to spend $1 trillion to get a guitar that sounds like that. The sound can be copied, and even the guitars themselves, there are builders out there that know how to nail it. And you know, I spent 20 years reverse engineering the PAFs and all the metallurgy on all the metal parts, the steel, the brasses, all of it. The zinc, you know, I did the reverse engineering on the Four Uncles bridges. A lot of burst owners own those bridges now because a lot of the old bridges, the saddles are so worn out that, you know, the notches are like really deep and just doesn't sound right. So I made a comment on that video, like, you don't need to spend that kind of money for that kind of tone. It's gettable, it's doable. I know because I do it. So you know, these people out there are like, it's a mythology. They want to keep it alive so they can keep the prices really, really high and going higher and higher. And who owns them? Rich guys. Really rich guys. Can they play? Most of them can't. So I got a little mini attack on me, and it was like, get over yourself. Like, oh, okay, thank you. Really, really like that comment. Thanks a lot. So I'm focusing on the 1959 Les Paul, right? Great guitars. Nobody's saying they're not. But, you know, there are a lot of videos out there of 1959 Les Pauls being played by guys who can't really play. They're using amplifiers that make the guitar sound awful, or they're sticking a pedal board in front of it, etc., etc., etc. So I went and looked for a bunch of 1959 Les Paul demonstrations that had a good player, had a good amp. You know, a lot of the dealers will use these amps nobody can afford either. So, you know, the amp is like half your tone to begin with, and, you know, pay a professional to demo it on video, and, you know, those are kinds of guys that can make a Daisy Rock guitar sound, amazing. And I've seen guys like that. I know guys like that. Their fingers. I don't believe fingers are your tone, but they know how to time things. I can't even explain it. They're professionals. They know what they're doing. So that right away, you're watching a demo of a guitar nobody can afford. I can't afford it. You can't afford it. So it's this kind of elitist, protected mythology about these guitars that nothing else can do what they do. And that's just wrong. So I had to look for a video with an amp being used similar to my Garnets, my Garnet Man stencil that's plugged into a greenback, because I want to compare what I do to a good video that was done well with an amp that's similar to mine. And my Garnets are like from 1978. So I'm using fair use law, that I can take snippets out of other people's videos, and it's okay unless they complain, which I don't see why anybody would. So I did a recording of my guitar with the PAF X set in my amp, and then I'm comparing that to a snippet of the professional dealer demo, just to show you that I can get it right in the ball game. It's possible, and they're replica Les Paul builders. They can do the same thing, And I did all that metallurgy work, blah 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 blah, and I did the lead engineering, reverse engineering on the Four Uncles bridges. If you have one, they're worth the money. And we spent 2 years, and a huge pile of money wasn't my money, thank God, getting them right. And it's the same process, reverse engineering, all the hardware, the harnesses, and everything on the guitars to get there. So all my guitars have been reworked, and the guitar I'm going to use to demo it's just this whoa it's just this junky Gibson Les Paul Classic. The only reason I bought it was because it has the real ABR1 into wood, and green markers. So it has the PAF X set in it, and I'm going to play that right after a snippet of the dealer demo, so you can hear that these tones are possible to get. You don't have to be rich to get it. You don't have to buy $1 million guitar. And all this extra hype about how amazing and how great they are. Well, you go look at a lot of demos, you find some really bad demos out there with bad amps and terrible players and guys using pedal boards and stuff and everything. So anyway, I'm going to stop it here and then just do do the presentation, and let me know what you think. You know, I'm glad they're still out there and being taken care of, but you know, you got rich guys kind of snubbing you, saying that they have something that nothing else can do, and it's not. It's just wrong. So let's do it. One thing I wanted to point out before I play the demo comparisons. They're recording in a large room. You know, it's like a recording studio type deal. I'm not sure what amplifier he's using. The amplifier has a lot to do with what the kind of sound you're going to get out of these guitars. And my recording setup is in a small, what used to be a master bedroom. It's got a high ceiling that's reflective, but it's carpeted, so it's really a dead kind of sound. And I almost never do a room recording because it just doesn't work in here. So I'm miking the speaker cab, which is a Celestion Greenback 25 watts. I'm just recording off of one speaker. I have two speakers, but I have a towel over one because otherwise it gets too loud. It's a good towel tone, you know. So I'm recording direct from the speaker cabinet using a Royer ribbon microphone and an SM57. So I'm getting a larger frequency size, a bigger kind of sound that has more frequencies than just a room and a mic that seems a little tinny to me in what they did. So keep that in mind. My recording isn't going to sound like their recording because it's completely different. But the other thing is, this guy is a really good player. I'm not a really good player. I'm not a professional player. I went to blues jams for years, but I couldn't hang with the major artist. And I played with some famous guys before too. So anyway, so I know somebody's going to pop up and say, well, they don't sound anything like each other. Well, listen to the actual character and the way it distorts. Okay, so don't go there. Okay, thanks. second sound sample.